When you strengthen your business with a solid, sustainable model, your clients and community are the ones that are going to benefit, as well as you, as well as your team. Welcome to the Exploring Neurodiversity podcast for adults who support neurodivergent children. I'm Adina from Play, Learn, Chat. I'm an autistic ADHD speech therapist, professional educator, speaker, and I also support neurodivergent business owners in my other business, Neurodivergent Business Coaching and Consulting. I'm obsessed with creating a world where neurodivergent people are understood, embraced, supported, and can thrive in a life aligned with our individual strengths, wants, and needs. I bring a neurodiversity affirming approach and indeed a human affirming approach to the support that we all provide for neurodivergent kids in our lives. This podcast is recorded on the Aboriginal lands of the Gadigal and Bidjigal people. Today's episode is a bit of a deviation from my usual content. I'm sharing this across both my podcasts, the Differently Aligned podcast for neurodivergent business owners, and Exploring Neurodiversity, my podcast for adults who support neurodivergent children. The reason I'm doing this is because the big issue on my mind today and on the minds of many, many professionals who support neurodivergent children is one that makes sense for me to talk about across both of these worlds, thinking about how we support children, thinking about how we support ourselves, thinking about how I can support businesses. I'm talking about the NDIS pricing cuts, freezes, reductions, and just outright pricing shenanigans. Now, I am a speech therapist. I've had different models of business. I know what it's like to have a mobile practice where all you do is travel to visit clients. I know what it's like to have an office and have a base where clients can come to you. I know what it's like to have a team where not only are you supporting the team, you're thinking about the business, you're thinking about quality of delivery to clients, you're balancing out what everybody needs, and having a mixed mode of delivery, both in the clinic and out in the community, at home visits, school visits, daycare visits, and so on. I also know what it's like to run a telehealth business and, again, mixing telehealth or, online speech therapy support in with other modes of service as well. Now, if you are not a therapist or if you're not in Australia, I still hope that you'll listen in because the issues I'm talking about today will quite likely impact you. Sustainable pricing, balancing what everybody needs, money mindset. Fundamentally, the heart of NDIS pricing cuts challenge is coming from a lack of support from above, from the government. These are systemic, long-term problems that we're not going to solve today, unfortunately. I really wish we could. I wish the government would just listen to the very, very many voices and perspectives of clients, families, community leaders, businesses, allied health professionals, and update the pricing guide to actually be sustainable for us. I'd love that. That would be cool. But I don't think it's going to happen in a rush. Now, there is a huge amount of brilliant advocacy out there. There are people getting in the media. There are letters going out. There are petitions. There's a lot of support for people to send emails to local members or to know how to contact people. There are huge meetings, connections. There's so many different ways that people impacted by the NDIS price freeze, let's call it that, people impacted by the price freeze are jumping to action. And I've been thinking a heck of a lot about my role in this. Where is my strength and the way that I can best support people through it? I've been signing the petitions, sending off emails, and I've been working directly with my one-on-one coaching clients to help them figure out what they're going to do next in terms of business pricing, structure, models, etc. While the high-level advocacy is in full swing and I completely support it, I'm not going to start my own advocacy platform and probably don't want to put my hand up to go on the news or anything like that. That doesn't fit me and my groove. What's my groove? Being here, turning up, speaking into my microphone, sharing my podcasts, and supporting people with resources, tools, a guide, a workshop, a free template as well. There's so many practical supports that I'm offering to allied health practices who are navigating these challenges right now. That's my groove. Now, I'm just going to share a very quick message about my Neurodivergent Business Collective. In my business, Neurodivergent Business Coaching and Consulting, one of the main things that I do is support other neurodivergent business owners to create a business that works for their brain, their life, their values, their energy, their capacity. If this is you, if you are a business owner and you are neurodivergent, I really encourage you to go and check out my Neurodivergent Business Collective, like right now. Depends when you're listening. I've got the doors open right now until the 27th of June. Then we're closed to new members for a while so I could focus on supporting everyone in there. I've got lots of links in the show notes, but you're going to go to the show notes and tap on Neurodivergent Business Collective if you're interested in a shortcut to creating an aligned, thriving business that fits your fabulous neurodivergent brain with an amazing supportive group of other folks. Resources, templates, webinars, guest speaker chats, and so on. It's massive. It's awesome. It's flexible. You can join for 1 month or stay for many, whatever works for you. So really go and have a look right now if it is before the 27th of June, or go to the website anyway and join the waitlist for future rounds if you're listening later. Now, while I'm supposed to be deep in launch mode for the Neurodivergent Business Collective, which I am, and I'm so excited to be welcoming new members over these couple of weeks, what I'm also doing is taking a very important, necessary side step to helping all allied health business owners who are interacting with the NDIS world to navigate the new round of changes, or in many cases, non-changes. So that's what this podcast is here to do today. The big picture challenges of getting disability support adequately funded is so deeply important, but I'm choosing today to focus on practical support for allied health businesses, things you can do right now, today, and over the next few weeks. And I'll touch a little bit on longer term thinking as well. So for the rest of this episode, I'm going to be speaking directly to the allied health practice owners and the allied health professionals who are directly impacted by the NDIS pricing freeze. My guide and workshop are for non-registered NDIS participants. However, if you are registered, there is still going to be a lot you can take from this, because some of what I share is about keeping within the NDIS price guide. But I do speak specifically to folks who are non-registered and therefore have some more or much more flexibility in some of the ways that we go about pricing our services. The very first thing that I want you to do is try not to panic. I say try because I can't take panic away from you. There is so much uncertainty. There are so many changes. There's a lot to get your head around, and you probably spend a lot of your day doing your business as usual, seeing clients or supporting people. I don't think I've ever seen the Facebook groups that I'm in be so active after hours. Or maybe it's sort of every year at this time, but I feel like this year is worse than ever. So, I need you to first acknowledge the impact on you as a human. NDIA have put us into this horrid position, this tailspin, about 2 weeks out from the end of the financial year, about 2 weeks out from the changes coming into action, which is deeply unfair on you as a service provider, and then on your clients who are feeling uncertain as well and won't get much notice potentially for changes of policies, pricing, and so on. And let's also remember your team. Your team members, if you have a team, might also be feeling very, very uncertain and unsure at the moment. So the one thing that I want you to do right now today, if you have not already done this, is send, I'm calling it like placeholder communication, out to your clients and even to your team as well. Now, I've written a template and I've made it free. Now, most of my freebies, you got to pop in your email address and I send lots of helpful emails to my email list. This one is so free that it's literally just a link straight to the template in my Google Drive. I've got the link in the show notes and you can go there and get this template email, copy it to your own Google Drive, and you can make it your own and send it out to your clients literally right now today. The idea of this email is just saying there are changes, there have been updates from NDIS, changes are coming, and I'm taking some time to look into it, figure out what I need to do, figure out the updates, and I will come back to you next week with more details. And you could do a similar version for your staff as well. It's a really simple message, but the impact can be massive. So I want you just to imagine, if you haven't already done something like this and you're scrambling thinking, I have to update people, which means I have to come to decisions. Like, these decisions are huge. They will impact the bottom line of your business, how you structure your billing, your pricing, your offers, and so on. So we don't have much time. I'm recording this on Wednesday, the 18th of June. We don't have much time, but we do have more than a day. You don't need to come to those conclusions exactly today. I really want you to take just a little bit of time to process. If you have to, do it over the weekend. None of this is ideal. It is a little blip in time, but don't do it today. Don't do it in a rush or like an urgent rush. So let's just breathe with that. Literally breathe out the urgency. Let people know change is coming and you're figuring things out. That is your leadership right now. I've had so many fabulous therapists write to me, thanking me for this template and saying they've sent it to their clients, or what a relief it is to have something so simple and clear. So please, literally right now, pause me, go to the link in the show notes and get your heads up upcoming pricing and billing update free template going right now. Send it out. Go for it. Then come back and keep listening. And again, if this exact scenario and situation doesn't impact you right now, there's a message here for you to take on for anything that comes up in your business as a really big, quick change or something quite surprising, shocking, where you feel very, very reactive. You can separate out being responsive and communicating with people, your clients, for example, and big decisions that you need to make. Send a quick message letting people know that there is something happening and that you need a little more time and it's coming. More info is coming soon. Then you go and breathe. So that's where we're at now. We're breathing it out. We're taking a moment. The next thing I want you to do is acknowledge we don't have a long timeline. We have 12, how's my maths? 12 days. That's not even business days, but I'm just going to talk calendar days until these changes come into action. I want you to look at your task list and your calendar between now and the end of the financial year, if indeed you are going to make some changes before then, and see what you can do to free yourself up. Are there any optional or less urgent tasks, meetings, activities, relaxed coffee catch-ups with friends that you might need to push out just a couple weeks to give yourself as much space and grace as possible to deal with these changes right now? I certainly have done that in my own response to helping you figure out what to do with this next. I've completely reprioritized what I'm focusing on this week. My days do not look like how I thought they would because I'm busy reading through the changes, updating my PDF guide to raising prices in an NDIS capped world, which, by the way, I do have as a low-cost resource. And I think over 200 people have accessed it so far. So that is also linked in the show notes. If you buy that before the end of the financial year, it's 30% off as well. So that is one of the big ways that I support practice owners to think about what do you do about all the pricing challenges. Through the rest of this episode, I'm going to give you a few of the ideas that I share in that guide, but obviously for more detail, go and get the guide. And even more than that, I very quickly responded to this need, to what my clients and community are asking for. And I also have devised a live workshop, which is a companion to the guide. Now, I almost never run things with such short notice, but I am running it live on Monday, the 23rd of June. And there is a recording after because I recognize, you have busy clinical caseloads, you have busy calendars, you may not be able to attend. I really, really do urge you to attend live if you possibly can. You'll be able to ask me questions and get direct support along the way. But of course, the recording will be super valuable as well. So again, that is linked in the show notes. If you're listening after the 23rd of June, it will continue to be available because it's going to be a really big, impactful resource, a way of helping you think through what all the new NDIS pricing rules mean to you. I'm going to outline the different paths you can take to choose how you're going to be pricing your services into the future. We're going to be talking about some of the mindset shifts that you may need to make to help you figure out your sustainable pricing so that you can continue offering a service that supports your clients and supports your team and yourself. And as I've already covered, and I continue to, is supporting you to communicate about these pricing updates and changes with your clients and community. So I've got other templates in the PDF guide, and in the workshop, I'll actually be supporting you to take action right there live. Just as a quick aside, if you already have my PDF guide, I'm updating that this week and we'll send out the updated version to you in the next couple of days. And you also should have a code in your email that gives you access to the workshop with basically taking the price of the guide off that. Okay, now we have established what we all might need to do. We've got to send quick messaging out to people. We've got to check our own tasks and calendars and shift things around and reprioritize things. This is not forever. It's super unfair that NDIS puts this on us, but here we are. We've carved out a little bit of space for ourselves to take maybe a week, maybe a few days to make some decisions about any changes we might need to put into place. Let's just pause to talk about why this pricing freeze is a problem. Now, in some cases, what NDIS has said is the new price guide is not even a freeze, it's actually backwards. Physiotherapists and dietitians have been told that from the 1st of July, they can charge less than they were before, which is absolutely, utterly appalling, not okay, and completely shocking. Also bad is that other allied health professionals, including speech pathologists, occupational therapists, have had our hourly rate frozen at the same rate since a change in 2019. That hourly rate is $193.99. And I'm just going to flag here, this is not what a speech pathologist takes home. Nobody is walking away from a 60-minute session with that much in their pocket and no minutes outside the 60 minutes spent supporting that client. Out of this payment, we have to take registration, insurance, overheads, superannuation, a wage, whether it's for team members or for ourselves, because, we do a job to be able to live, to be able to pay a wage. Materials, resources, things that we use directly with clients, professional education, supervision. We're not even covering all the costs by far. So nobody is taking home $193.99. I did have somebody comment on one of my posts that something about therapists are making up to $250,000 a year, which is fascinating. I have no idea where they got that number from, because that would be something like, this is just maths from my head, 27 direct client hours a week for 48 weeks of the year. You can maths check me. I think that was the number, assuming absolutely zero business costs. So yeah, that is completely nonsensical. I'm going to just go out and say it. No allied health practice owner, whether solo or running a team, none are rolling in dough. Businesses are struggling. Businesses have been struggling for years. Now, $193.99 in 2019 was worth $233.67 in 2024. The Reserve Bank of Australia calculator hasn't even updated it to a 2025 calculator. So this number is at least 6 months old. Inflation has meant that we're now getting paid about $40 less per hour, meaning this frozen rate goes a lot less far to paying for business costs and personal costs than it did in 2019. Again, looking at the 2024 number from 2019 to 2024, that was a total change of 20.5%. That's the impact of inflation. Can you think of any other cost in your world that has not gone up? Power, bills, groceries, petrol, registration fees, insurance, rent, everything. Every cost that I can think of in my whole life has gone up and up over 5 or 6 years. And to expect that therapists and therapy practices take in the same amount, that same flat amount year on year, is a complete backslide. And again, remembering that some of our allied health professions are being told that the rate is supposed to reduce, which makes no sense. We all have equivalent or similar amounts of training, and the impact that we have on the people that we support, the disabled folk that we support, that NDIS is supposed to be there to fund and help, it's equivalent. Nobody should be paid less. We should all be acknowledged for our time and efforts, our expertise, our experience. There is a bit of a narrative out there about therapists price gouging and NDIS providers rorting the system. That is such a small sliver of the reality. And it is the absolute exception that a therapy provider is out to do harm and to scam the system. We are in helping professions. We got here for a reason. We want to help people. It's also super important to acknowledge vast majority of allied health professionals are female, and all too often women are seen as helpers. And our work, the way we see our own work, is that we're first supposed to be helping other people, and asking for money for that can be really hard. I'm here to talk about the money. I'm here to tell you that you need to ask for the money, and not just to keep the lights on and the doors open, but you deserve to be paid well for the deep professionalism and experience and quality of life support that you bring to your clients. This is the mindset piece. I talk a lot more about it in the PDF guide, and we're definitely going to be diving into this in the workshop. As a sidebar, I also recommend Denise Duffield-Thomas, her podcast, book, anything like that. She talks a lot about money mindset, and there's so much to take from what she shares. It's okay to ask for money, and you deserve it. You deserve to be paid and compensated for your immense efforts. All right, so let's go more into mindset when you join me either for the PDF guide or in the workshop. What I want to share now is the 2 broad directions you can go with your pricing. You have 2 main options. and a lot of nuance within each one and all the decisions that flow on from them. Option 1 is to stay within the NDIS price guide and increase the time that you bill for and increase the everything that you bill for. Make sure that you're billing for exactly everything legitimately that NDIS says you can. And in that choice, plan managers can pay your invoices because everything is within NDIS pricing. If you have a lot of plan managed clients, this might be the way to go. Again, a lot more nuance and detail into how you make these decisions. Option 2 is to say a big bugger off to NDIS ruling your lives and telling you how to do business and setting your own pricing. In a free market, you get to dictate how your business operates. If you choose this option, at absolute minimum, I would ask you to look at inflation and perhaps shift your prices to 2024 or maybe 2025 prices to $230, $235 an hour. Think about that. Think about what impact that would have, or even get out your calculator and work out if you did that, assuming you maintain the same number of clients each week, what would that do for your bottom line? Or even do it the other way. We're going to do a little thought experiment here, which is answering a common fear, which is justifiable, which is, oh, but if I update my pricing, won't I lose clients? Probably. You may lose some, yes. It is obviously something to think about really carefully, starting with your current financial position and what you can tolerate losing out for a little bit. I don't want you to go hungry. I don't want you to turn the lights off. I don't want you to go without a wage. So, what is the buffer you have financially for a little bit of time if there is a bit of wobble and movement in reduction of clients? That's something also that you'll think about when you decide what you're doing to update your pricing. But while you're thinking about that, let's see what a little buffer could do. I am just doing, let's say, made up numbers here. But let's pretend you had 20 clients a week at $193.99. The revenue from those 20 clients a week, that is $3,879.80. I wish it was a clean number, but NDIS did not allow us that. Anyway, here we are. Let's just call it $3,880 for the sake of our brains. Now let's assume that you decide to change your hourly rate to be simply in line with inflation. Never mind your 5 years extra experience, but let's go with $235 per hour. If you saw those 20 clients, that's $4,700 a week, an increase of $820 a week. What would that do for your life, your quality of life, your care? You could put some of that back into your business or, allow yourself a little bit more freedom and reward for your incredibly qualified, skilled work that you do. But let's say a couple of those clients leave. Maybe they don't have the funding, maybe things change, maybe they don't like the updates that you do. How can we breathe out and let them go and still be okay? In this case, let's take that number we had with the earlier rate, the $193.99 times 20 sessions a week, approximately $3,880. Let's divide that by our new rate, $235 an hour. You now only need 16 and a half hours rather than 20 hours to reach that same revenue. Now pause and think about your week. What if you had 3.5 hours less direct client time? Because it's a half, it's a little awkward, but let's say 1 week in a fortnight, 3 clients left and the other week 4 clients left. We'll just go with the 3.5 hours. Would you be okay financially? Yes, because your total revenue is the same as you are taking in right now. What would you do with that extra 3.5 hours per week? Could you use it to look after yourself? Could you use it to support your team more thoroughly? Could you use it to work on a big side project that you've been thinking of? Write that workbook, create that course, study that part-time online course that you've been thinking of. What would that look like for you? Or maybe you'd spend that 3.5 hours on marketing efforts to get more clients back, to fill up those other hours and spots in your calendar, if that's your groove and if that's what fits what you want to do with your work week. I'm not here to tell you what your work should look like. I'm here to offer you opportunities to think a little bit differently and consider, yes, there are losses along the way. There's a loss of time, energy, effort. There may be losses of clients through these pivots and through these updates. But I encourage you to focus on the opportunity. What could it open up for you? What could you gain? Whether or not you're choosing a pathway that fits within NDIS pricing or outside of NDIS pricing, there are a lot of detailed considerations. Who are you supporting? What are their financial means to be able to access your support? Who do you want to be able to support? Thinking, even roll back to why you got into this. But through all of these decisions, you cannot put yourself last. You are a human worthy of a decent life, a balanced life, worthy of a work life that compensates you well and that helps you thrive. I don't want you to be a martyr or go backwards because you feel that you should be there to support other people. You have to put yourself, your business, your team really, really, really high up in the decision-making process. No matter how you choose to price, within or outside of the NDIS price guide, there's a lot you can be considering, which of course we're going to go through in great detail in the workshop, and I talk about in the PDF guide as well. Thinking about, are you charging appropriately for travel, for all the time spent? Are you charging the non-labor cost for travel? I know many providers are for the first time looking at adding that on, which we've been allowed to do for a little while. And now that the travel funding now we're being told that we can only charge half of our hourly rate for any time spent traveling, which is completely ridiculous because your time is your time that you spend traveling to someone to provide them a service that is convenient for them in a location that makes sense for them. That is time taken away from your ability to be seeing a client, to be doing a different kind of work that would be fully billable at the full rate. Absolute nonsense. Anyway, if you're choosing to stick within NDIS pricing, you may need to go with that for now. I'm still, by the way, hoping that there will be more changes before the 1st of July. I hope that what I'm sharing partly becomes redundant very quickly. Maybe NDIS will turn around and update pricing to honor actual time and support. Maybe. I'm not going to hold my breath. Either way, everything I'm sharing here still makes perfect sense for you to think about how you're packaging up and billing for your services. Are you genuinely charging for all the time spent directly and indirectly supporting a particular client? Thankfully, within the NDIS price guide, we are allowed to charge for non-direct supports, things like planning, prepping, note writing, specifically for a client. What's interesting is that outside of the NDIS billing world, in various service professions that are time-based, too often they feel a little more incidental, or the time outside of directly seeing a client is not billed necessarily. So whatever your business model and funding model, don't just consider the time you spend directly with a client as the billable thing. What is the whole package of support and the value to that client? Make sure that you're charging well for it. And where possible, especially if you're going to be charging outside of NDIS pricing, think of it from the value of that client. What does your support offer them? I really encourage you to keep in touch with me. If you want more of the nuance, the detail, the depth and the support, come and join me in the workshop, Raising Your Prices in an NDIS Capped World. Feel free to grab the guide to Raising Prices in an NDIS Capped World, which I'm updating, pretty much as soon as this episode's out. That's my next work that I'm finalizing and sharing with everybody. So if you buy it, you will get the updated version. And if you haven't already, go and grab that free template. Send a quick placeholder message to your clients and to your team members as well. You are not alone in this. The great thing I'm seeing is the community out there online, a lot of Facebook groups with people supporting each other. I am here to support you. If you're a member of my Neurodivergent Business Collective, you get the most support from me. Aside from my one-on-one clients, they get the most support from me. So in my Neurodivergent Business Collective, we have a Slack chat where we're talking through in more depth the specific application of these ideas to each business. My members get free access to the workshop, by the way. So if you are listening and you're a member, please don't go and buy the workshop. Come and join the membership or be in the membership, and then you'll get free access to that workshop. If you are a business owner and you are neurodivergent, I really encourage you to go and check out my Neurodivergent Business Collective. Doors open right now until the 27th of June. All right, I have talked for long enough. I need to go and update my guide and dive back in to the updated NDIS pricing rules. Hooray! Not my favorite activity, but it's something I'm dedicated to doing and understanding so that I can help others interpret it. I hope that you have an okay day. Maybe better than okay, but let's just go with okay. Please do not put yourself last, and please do not navigate this alone. I'm here for you, and the community is here for you. When you strengthen your business with a solid, sustainable model, your clients and community are the ones that are going to benefit, as well as you, as well as your team. I hope you stick around. I hope you're sustainable, and I hope you look after yourself. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being open to learning and unlearning and to listening to the perspectives and experiences of neurodivergent folks. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with a friend, share a screenshot on Instagram, pop a 5-star rating and a review in your favourite app, and join me on Instagram and Facebook. I'm at play.learn.chat. Have a beautiful day.